A decorated Navy veteran who once led the Ohio State University grounded, leaving shockwaves in the wake of his sudden resignation.
I will say I was definitely surprised.
I think that we could have a president that aligns a lot better with the character and integrity of our school.
This week in Boomtown, we are looking at the business impact of Ted Carter Jr.'s resignation and what the university's new president means for the future.
It's my honor now to introduce the 18th president of The Ohio State University, Dr. Ravi Bellankamp.
Plus, the state of everything from the suburbs to the capital city to the State House. What leaders are saying about their visions for growth in the next 10 years. And these little swimmers worth millions of dollars. It is a booming business in Central Ohio. Sounds fishy, but it's not.
Very excited to be able to bring to Central Ohio the living jewels that we were able to secure when we were in Japan this past fall.
You'll hear how this industry is reeling in big money and how one company is putting Sunbury on the worldwide map. Central Ohio certainly is booming. We all see it and we all can feel it. So here's what we uncovered this week in Boomtown. Thanks so much for joining us for This Week in Boomtown. I'm Angela Ann. We begin this week with the sudden resignation of the Ohio State University president and a new person now selected to lead Ohio's largest college. Now, less than a week since his resignation, the fallout from Ted Carter Jr.'s resignation continues to ripple well beyond higher education. Here's how the university says it all started.
The board asked the president disclosed an inappropriate relationship with someone seeking public resources for personal business needs and offered to resign.
And we now know a business registration tied to a podcast host is part of the university's review into Carter's resignation. Now, Jobs Ohio confirmed it sponsored 4 episodes of that podcast as a way to bring veterans into the workforce, but only 1 episode was produced. Carter resigned with 2 more years left on his contract, but in a statement he himself released, Carter said he is proud of the work he did in his 2 years here to set Ohio State up for the future. Here's part of that statement. It reads, "The Education for Citizenship 2035 strategic plan has Ohio State poised to succeed for years to come." Now, we have told you many times right here on This Week in Boomtown that Ohio State is a huge economic driver for Central Ohio. Ted Carter was lockstep with many of the movers and shakers in our region. Take a listen to what he told us back in August.
Over $20 billion economic impact. We return about $19 for every single dollar that the state gives us. But there's another piece to this, and that is our connection to all the businesses. And businesses are very attracted to come here to Central Ohio. This is a manufacturing capital of the world, and we have a relationship with pretty much every company that comes into town.
A few months after that, I spoke with Carter at the Economic Development 411 event, and he talked about making sure every Ohio State student understands how to use AI to their advantage as they enter the workforce.
We have a plan to drive to a $2 billion research institution arm over the next 5 to 10 years. That'll put us easily in the top 10 in the nation.
Well, community and business leaders across Central Ohio are now trying to figure out what is next, and many of them doubled down this week on their commitment to Ohio State's future, including Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther, who reiterated how important Ohio State is in attracting students, workers, and companies all to the capital city.
You know, Ohio State's one of the largest employers in the region, one of our closest working partners, whether it's safety, economic development, commercialization, and workforce development. We're going to stay focused on working closely with Ohio State during this transition because the students, faculty, staff, and the residents of Central Ohio deserve us to continue to stay working together and make sure that, you know, Central Ohio's future is bright.
And we also heard from the Columbus Partnership, which works closely with Ohio State to strengthen the region's talent pipeline. The partnership released a statement as well, which says, in part, We look forward to continuing our close partnership with the university and welcoming its next leader. And we also heard from Anduril Industries, which in September announced a multi-year partnership with Ohio State Athletics to show its commitment to the region. And the company told 10 TV, quote, Anduril remains committed to their multi-year agreement and to continue our work with the university. So in the wake of Carter's resignation this week, the Ohio State Board of Trustees made a major move. They voted in Dr. Ravi Bellamkonda as the next president of The Ohio State University. He was OSU's vice president and provost for a little over a year. And now President Bellamkonda wants to grow Ohio State even bigger.
We have one of the finest, amazing cancer hospitals in the country in the James, something that we have to be proud of. Our College of Arts and Sciences has 13 departments that are ranked in the top 10 in public universities. We have a fantastic agricultural school, vet school, and the list goes on. And these top-ranked departments and schools don't just mean that we do an amazing job with our education, but the research and innovation that represent across the university is really breathtaking. We're ranked number 12 in the country, not just publics, in our research prowess and expenditures. We have 3 national centers that our faculty lead in the space of artificial intelligence. And at a time when artificial intelligence is asking us, what does it really mean to be human? We have incredible strengths in the liberal arts and humanities and law to probe and answer that question and lead in defining what that future looks like. We are an academic powerhouse, thanks to this board's support, without a doubt. Why does it matter, one might ask themselves? It matters because the best scholars in the world are in our classrooms teaching our undergraduate, graduate, and professional students. It matters because our entrepreneurial mindset and relentless pursuit of excellence has the power to transform the world, starting right here in Ohio.
The state of our city is strong, but it's also a challenging time in America and a consequential moment for Columbus.
A powerful message of unity this week from Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther in his State of the City address. When it comes to our growing region, Mayor Ginther also offered insight into one key issue facing nearly every boomtown, including ours: housing.
Last year's housing permit data is in, and we're projecting that construction of about 9,100 new homes were authorized in 2025. That's a 50% increase over 2024, and the largest number of housing permits we've issued in 25 years. We're doing well as a region too. We estimate that the Columbus metro area started construction on more than 15,800 new homes for families last year, a 17% increase. This stands in strong contrast with our peer cities around the country, where housing starts are flat or falling. One of the drivers of our progress in Columbus is our affordable housing bonds. In 2019 and 2022, voters overwhelmingly approved bonds that totaled $250 million. So far, we've allocated or committed more than $200 million of that total, resulting in the creation or preservation of more than 7,000 affordable homes. And we're leveraging our dollars to make them work harder. Our $200 million also have unlocked nearly $1.5 billion in public and private funding to build affordable rental housing. That includes income-qualified rental units, home ownership opportunities, as well as housing for individuals who have complex needs and require additional services and support. We've also invested $7 million in emergency and critical home repairs for low-income homeowners to help them remain stably housed in their home.
So that is the state of the city for Columbus, but we're also seeing the future vision of 2 growing Central Ohio suburbs as their mayors address the state of their cities. In Whitehall, Mayor Michael Bivens gave an optimistic tone while acknowledging growing pains ahead.
Depending upon the pace of this prosperity, Whitehall could add up to 7,500 new residents by 2050, meaning we must be prepared for the added pressure on housing, infrastructure, parks, and city services.
And over to Dublin, they're flashing back to the city's beginnings, saying it's the only way to look at future growth. This is just one example. Take a look at Riverview Village, set right along the Scioto River in the heart of historic Dublin. The goal of this future destination is to bring new energy while preserving the area's unique character and charm. Dublin says it is also planning on new modes of transportation.
Transit options will be the key to our long-term regional success, as people, particularly in the emerging workforce, desire transit options. And at the end of the day, every decision we make is about building a community that endures.
And this week, we also heard from Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, his final State of the State address, as he can no longer run for governor given term limits. Here's what DeWine said about a growing Ohio.
Over the past few years, we brought many companies to Ohio and secured significant expansions of Ohio-based companies at the same time. Yet many of these businesses are just now starting to hire and to ramp up. We have planted the seeds. We are about to see the results. Here's just a few examples. Let's start with 3 of the many companies that we brought here from California. Anduril, they plan on starting production this year and will build up to 4,000 well-paid employees in the next few years. Employees who will be making the world's most high-tech defense systems. Then there's Joby Aviation. They've already started producing propellers and will soon be building flying taxis. Flying taxis. Up to 2,000 Ohio workers will be employed. Amgen, Ohio's largest life science and pharmaceutical manufacturing facility, will soon be adding 350 more workers to package temperature-sensitive, life-saving drugs.
And the list is growing. The governor also touted his merit scholarship, which he claims is the reason 85% of Ohio's top high school graduates are now staying in Ohio each year to go to college. Now to the data center debate growing in Central Ohio. These are the areas that have put in moratoriums past and present. So you see Jerome Township, Washington Township, and Urbana in Champaign County. But there's also South Bloomfield and Asheville. Those are in Pickaway County, where local leaders say they want to pause on data centers. And this month, West Jefferson, St. Albans, and Darby Township in Union County joining that list. Now, we've talked a lot about data centers on This Week in Boomtown. More than 100 already here in Central Ohio. Columbus City Council held a hearing this week to look deeper into how these tech giants are impacting your neighborhoods. Here's 10 TV's Kristen McFarland with more.
Data centers remain a highly debated issue, especially when it comes to the strain they place on our energy and water systems. And it asks the question, who ultimately is responsible for paying for those resources?
The goal of the hearing was to develop the city's strategy on how to address the challenges that come with these developments. Although most of the data centers located across Central Ohio are not built within the city of Columbus, City Council President Shannon Hardin said Columbus residents and service providers still bear the responsibility of supplying the electricity and water they require. He noted that data centers use millions of gallons of water each day. Several leaders and experts spoke at the meeting to share their perspectives on the issue.
To make sure that the growth of Columbus benefits and lifts all our residents, not increases their cost of living or comes at their expense. Data centers for me are a test of if we can get that balance right.
83% of data centers in Virginia use the same or less water than an average office building. Some even use less than a typical household.
Large data centers may require up to 5 million gallons of water per day. That compares to the water needs of a city of about 50,000 residents, about the size of the city of Dublin.
As 10 TV previously reported, we know water rates are increasing here in Central Ohio. The city is requesting the community continue to be a part of this conversation as they look for solutions. Reporting in Columbus, Kristen McFarland, 10 TV News.
Kristen, thank you so much. Now, the federal government is stepping in to help curb rising electric bills, some of which are caused by data centers. President Trump recently met with tech leaders at the White House to roll out the Ratepayer Protection Pledge, with some companies agreeing to build their own power sources to help run their data centers.
This means that the tech companies and the data centers will be able to get the electricity they need, all without driving up electricity costs for consumers. This is a historic win for countless American families and will also make our electricity grid stronger and more resilient than ever before.
Now, Microsoft and Amazon are among the companies agreeing to the president's pledge. Both tech giants are building data centers in communities like Marysville, Sunbury, and Hebron. Now, Ohio lawmakers also weighing in on this, with Senator Bernie Moreno saying signing the pledge is the right call.
Homeowners should not be competing with massive data centers for electricity. It's, as you know, led to an increase in electricity prices, which is completely unacceptable. So having tech companies, these hyperscalers, have to build their own power source is critical.
And Ohio Senator John Husted was with President Trump at that data center meeting. Here's what he told 10 TV's Doug Petcash about the pledge and what it means for Ohio.
He's asking them to put energy back on the grid, which will stabilize and even in some cases lower the rates of the people in the community surrounding those data centers. It is something that will really benefit Ohio. If we're going to see any more data centers in our state, they need to have a net benefit for the state, not an overwhelming presence that does not benefit the people of Ohio.
Meantime, people living in Hilliard are pushing back against a plan to install hundreds of fuel cells to help power an Amazon data center there. Now, in response, AEP Ohio met with them to answer some of their questions. However, some neighbors say they left with more concerns. Here's 10 TV's Libby Cathy with more.
We've already discussed, should we leave before this fuel center goes live?
That's the question some Hilliard residents are asking, as 228 natural gas fuel cells are planned to power an existing Amazon data center near homes and an elementary school. Thursday night, AEP Ohio held an open house to field questions, but for some, the answers offered little comfort.
Clearly, the people they sent here are going to sugarcoat this to an nth degree. But in the end, it's still more pollution right where we live, more noise pollution.
My number one concern regarding the fuel cells is safety. Are they safe for my kids? Are they safe for the kids that live near them?
Local leaders say they're also trying to understand what the project could mean for emergency responders if there's a natural gas leak.
It's more what you don't know yet, and we're trying to find out more.
AEP Ohio says that's exactly why they held this event.
If their concerns are about pollution, we have somebody who can, ease their concerns.
The company says the fuel cells will help meet growing energy demand from data centers without putting additional strain on the power grid.
I don't think anybody's concerns are unfounded, but the key is to be transparent.
And Bloom Energy, which makes the technology, says fuel cells are cleaner than traditional power sources.
Fuel cells converts natural gas to electricity without combustion. These systems are deployed in other parts of the world too, like California and Japan, which often have really strict air quality standards and often have really strict regulations. So I think that's given people a lot of confidence in the technology.
But some residents are not convinced, saying there's still questions about the technology long term.
It's a cleaner alternative, but the alternative before what we have right now is zero. So you are adding more pollution to this area that we do not currently have, so people can make AI images.
Libby, thank you so much. Now, AEP says the fuel cells are expected to be operational by 2027. We end this week in Boomtown with this, a story that is no fishtail. Thousands of new fresh koi just arrived to Sunbury, Ohio from Japan. Now, they didn't swim here, of course, but they are now part of Ohio Koi, the premier breeding and importer of koi and exotic goldfish here in the Midwest. And we're not talking any fish. These fish, well, they're worth millions of dollars. I spoke with Todd Elliott, who started Ohio Koi a decade ago, and he says this is just the start of the boom for this industry. Talk about Ohio Koi and what has transpired in the last decade in terms of the growth of your business, this industry, and why you are putting Delaware County, Sunbury on the map.
Yeah, so I would say, for our business, we've been around to the point you just made is about 10 years now. And we've seen progressive growth every year since the business started for us. And what we found is there's actually a very significant community here in Central Ohio that does have a lot of outdoor living space, and some, and many of those times, those outdoor living spaces do include having some type of water feature. And, that's kind of what we banked on when we started the business, is being able to support our Central Ohio community. And, as our name has started to become more and more known within the area, it's really helped us understand the needs of the community and really try to make this business unique in terms of not just focusing outwardly beyond Ohio or even Central Ohio, but really focusing on what the needs of our customers are here locally in Central Ohio, and some of the challenges that comes with having ponds with our winters, like the winter that we just had. So just preparing for that. And, as that growth has came, we've needed more space to be able to support our customers. And that's why this year, we're very excited, our 10-year anniversary, that we're able to open Mega One, our newest greenhouse that we have on the farm that's just over an acre inside, that folks can walk around and look at all the cool fish that were brought in from Japan, but also provide them with supplies and help them as they continue to go on the endeavors of water gardening as well.
And Todd, as we talk about Boomtown and clearly the boom of fish here in Ohio, you built Mega One. Do you foresee that you might have to build a Mega Two in the near future, given the growth that you're seeing with housing and people interested in having ponds and koi?
I do. I definitely think that the need is there, and the evolution of those needs continues to grow for us. We now offer services to build ponds for customers, as well as service ponds here in Central Ohio. So bringing in those types of products to be able to support them, whether they do it on their own as DIYs or that we do it for them, of just having the space to be able to show them exactly what it is that they might need to be able to pursue those types of hopes and dreams.
You're also a breeder, though, right, Todd? And so you have customers really coming from around the country to you, knowing that you are this huge supplier in the Midwest.
We are. We do. We have 16 natural ponds on the property. We get all of our breeding stock koi from Japan, as well as some unique goldfish varieties, and we utilize those ponds to grow them out. It gives us a great opportunity to provide some economical price points for our customers. We also do events throughout the year where customers come. They help us gather the fish in the spring, and in the fall, they bring their families to watch and enjoy those types of events. But it also does allow us to support other local businesses that might also sell fish to where they can come to us, they can see the products, see how healthy they are and all the vibrant colors, and be able to have them in their shops as well.
And at the end of the day, too, you're also bringing more jobs, I'm sure, to Sunbury and Central Ohio with the growth that you are building yourself.
Yeah, a couple things that we've done there. One, we've tripled our staff over the last year, but also as part of some of the development that we're seeing out here, we have the opportunity to bring in local trades. So all of the contractors that we're using to build Mega One and to maintain the facility, as well as our farm itself, is all local businesses. So we just get a kick out of being able to, not only see that growth internally but also to be able to share that with the community and other businesses as well.
Well, congratulations, Todd, on the new greenhouse, on all the new fish that you have now. They're living with us in Sunbury, Ohio. I can't wait to come out and visit.
Yeah, please. We'd love to have you out.
Guess I got to build a new pond to start with. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of This Week in Boomtown. If you have any questions related to Central Ohio's rapid growth, we want to hear from you. Just text us 614-460-3345. And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. You can always drop a question right there in the comment section as well. Thanks again for watching This Week in Boomtown. I'm Angela Ann. We'll see you again next week.